This problem is a hypothesis test, sigma unknown for one population, and we are given the hypothesis statements up here as well as our sample results. So looking at our hypothesis statements, the null being that the mu is less than or equal to 70, the alternative is that it's greater than 70. We are to look at those statements and determine what kind of test we have, upper tail, lower tail, or two-tailed test. We have an upper tail test here, looking at the sign there in the alternative statement. Okay, so we have an upper tail test, meaning that our rejection area is going to be in the upper tail here. The question is where or what is the critical value for the test? That is, where is that cutoff point? And to determine that, we would look at our student's T table. We've got an excerpt of that here, and we're going to look at degrees of freedom. So we have an N of 20, so degrees of freedom is 19, and our alpha value is 0.10 for a one-tailed test. Okay, so that's that column here, and so our critical value, T of alpha, is 1.3277. So it runs off the screen a little bit there. Okay, so T of alpha is 1.3277. So then our decision rule then is based on this. We're just putting this into some sort of text form here, is if our test stat is greater than 1.3277, reject null, otherwise do not reject. Okay, and the test stat here is this formula. That's what we calculate from our sample results, right? So we've got two T's. We've got the T of alpha, or our critical value, which is the 1.3277. That defines our rejection area, and we say if our result of our sample, using this formula here, falls into this area, then we will reject the null. Alright, so now all we have to do is drop our values into here to get our test stat. So our test stat is going to be, what, 71.2 minus 70 over S was 6.9, and then N was 20. So when we calculate that, we get 0.78. Alright, so 0.78. That is less than 1.3277, so 0.78 is somewhere in here. Meaning that what? That we will not reject the null. Right? We do not have evidence to say that that our mu is greater than 70, right? Because our result did not fall into the rejection area.